Hello there. It is very nice to meet you, Mr. and Mrs. Samuels. My name is Lena Kai, and I was tasked with leading this transitional IEP meeting for Nicholas. So let's go ahead and get started. This is just a quick profile that we created with meetings with both the student and the parents. So he's currently 15. He's currently in the 10th grade. He has been diagnosed with dyslexia since the age of 10. As far as his strengths go, he presents great critical thinking skills, strong oral presentation skills, and is extremely helpful towards other students within the classroom. His interests include fixing objects or furniture, watching soccer and football, and playing the guitar. As far as his future goals go, he plans to attend trade school to become a repair technician, either plumbing or home repair. Um, this is just an overview of what we do in 10th grade English honors. We are a precursor to advanced placement literature, advanced placement language and composition. So we tend to focus heavily on developing strategies for reading and analysis, as well as developing students' writing abilities in order to develop their critical thinking skills. Some common tasks that we would do is reading long and short form text. We also focus on writing short answers and essays and doing weekly or bi-weekly oral discussions based on the text. As far as long-term goals go, we want to develop students' interest in reading in and outside of the classroom. We don't want to develop their communication skills, oral and written, and we want to develop the application of critical thinking skills, not only for future classes, but also for their future careers. This is just a quick assignment breakdown for you guys to ponder on. And it's just here the 35% is devoted to multiple choice exams and quizzes. The 30% is devoted to essays. The 25% is devoted to reading guides, and the 10% is devoted to oral discussions. I should make note that the oral discussions are mostly participation, so they tend to do very well in this. So there's that. As far as how Nicholas's dyslexia affects his progress within the classroom, his dyslexia is a specific learning disability that affects a person's ability to read. So he often spends time sounding out words when reading and writing, which cuts into the time he needs for coursework. His written work often presents numerous grammatical and spelling errors. They also tend to be turned in either incomplete and or present simplistic answers. As such, he presents frustration over work that is deemed too challenging, such as long form essays or more difficult reading guides. He's also presents some fear that he's not going to be able to catch up with his classmates in the future. Um, so there's just a quick summary on that. This is just a quick grade breakdown that aligns with what has been shared. I want to particularly make note of his progress in oral discussion. He tends to do incredibly well in this. He often is he is a he participates like very frequently within oral discussion. He often answers my questions or brings up new questions and insights that really help to rope other classmates within the conversation, which is really amazing to see. He does well on exams and quizzes. He does tend to rush towards the end because they only have a certain time period in order to fully complete them. Um, as for essays and reading guides, he presents more difficulties with these two, particularly with reading guides, since they need to transfer the information from what they've read to answering the questions that I have given them, which obviously presents a bigger barrier. So now I want to get into the various accommodations that that Nicholas can use in and outside of the classroom in order to support his academic progress. And most of these accommodations are rooted in this concept known as UDL, or Universal Design for Learning, which is simply known as an approach to teaching and learning that gives all students equal opportunity to succeed, and that will utilize a variety of methods such as technology, pre-teaching, customizing assignments, and many more in order to help achieve this goal. So the first accommodation that I want to get into is text-to-speech, and I particularly recommend Microsoft Immersive Reader for its customization and its compatibility. It is a text reader that helps to read and highlight text for the student to follow. It assists with why I chose this, it helps to assist with decoding and reading comprehension, which will gradually build the reading skills needed for his future career, such as reading house plans or writing reports. There are a couple examples here for you to see. The next accommodation I want to make notice to is graphic organizers such as flowcharts or the web format. These organizers help to organize various ideas and thoughts into a streamlined visual format, which helps to aid comprehension and enhance learning. They can be used in a variety of different ways, such as essay planning, comparing and contrasting ideas, and for story mapping. As for why I chose this, it helps to support reading comprehension and executive functioning through lessening that barrier to reading. Again, building the skills needed for task for his future career, but also lessening that barrier to reading again. Um, and so that way he spends less time having to go through the text and having to read through it again in order to comprehend it. He can just look through this or graphic organizer and be like, oh, I have the answer right here. I can transfer it over here. Things like that. The third accommodation that I want to make mention to is extra or extended time. This helps to provide the time needed to fully complete assignments without rushing. We can do this through time extension for quizzes and exams. We can give him like 5 to 15 minutes after class just for him to like fully complete these assignments without penalty. We can also do this through deadline extension, giving him like 2 to 3 days or maybe even 4 days for him to fully complete an essay and project without having to worry about, the due date, the listed due date for all the rest of the class. He can focus on just making sure that the project or essay is done to a satisfactory manner. I chose this to help increase his usage of learning strategies for certain for quizzes and exams as well as reading guides, which will hopefully help to boost his confidence in academic work, which will lessen his fears and frustration and will also give him the confidence needed for him to start to fully independently start like reading and completing assignments without many barriers. Here is just a quick visual that I drafted, showcasing his academic progression with the recommended accommodations. This is still to be determined depending on how he responds to the accommodations, but with his positive personality and his work ethic, despite his frustration, I hope to see many gradual gains in the future. But again, this is to be determined. But I hope by viewing this, you guys can get a better visual as to how these accommodations will help him throughout his academic career, especially within my class. This last slide here, which I titled The Power of Teamwork, we really want to emphasize communication between the parents, the IEP team, and me and his fellow teachers. So how are we going to monitor his progress within my classroom is that we are going to do reading and writing logs, logging in how many minutes he reads or writes weekly. Through a Google Doc. We will also be doing weekly check-ins through in-person meetings and emails, seeing like how he's doing, what we need to change, what we need to alter for him to succeed. We will also be doing weekly emails discussing current classroom goals and assignments, which will be shared with both parents, his fellow teachers, and IEP team to give a broad perspective as to how he's doing within school and what we need to alter and change for him to fully succeed. I have shared my points of contact for you to contact me with any questions and concerns. I am free at any time for you to discuss like what we can change and what we can alter for him to succeed. Uh, so that is the conclusion of this meeting. I will also be sharing this presentation for you to mull over your options. Uh, Please feel free to contact me or any other members of the IEP team if you have any concerns or questions. Again, I am always free. This has been a very lovely meeting and I hope to be in contact with you guys soon. All right, thank you.